Welcome back, veterans, to another session of Veterans Did You Know? Dave Ewing with the County Department of Veterans Affairs, and I am truly honored today to have this gentleman standing next to me is General Smith, and so he is the, your exact title is the
Director of Veterans Services Division for the state of Michigan.
Yeah, the top
Workforce Development Agency.
The top dog up there, and we had him all the way over from Lansing to come over and watch this jobs fair. Two of his associates work at the Vet Center and helps vets find jobs every day, but today we put the job fair on and to track all these businesses here. And General, this is a great day for the jobs fair, but it's kind of interesting because we were talking about having that vets court.
Right.
And that's the next piece of the puzzle. We don't have in Muskegon County as a vets court, and we're looking at stuff. We're discussing that. So could you kind of want to explain what a vets court is? Because you're the man on that too. So.
Well, the first thing, the vets court is not a get out of jail pass free.
No, that's for sure.
But the vet court is a separate docket that only the veterans go through the judicial process with a judge and a prosecutor who understand possibly some of the sensitivities that a veteran might have had and experiences. And so they bring about a supportive services atmosphere. And so in the courtroom on a separate docket, you also have the VA who can actually schedule appointments immediately. You'll have mentors who go with a veteran to all their appointments in front of the court, or if they've got to go take let's say a drug test, or they've got to go check in with a probation officer, they make sure that the person does this. So they move through the process together. Many of these cases can take a year to 2 years to be adjudicated. The judge might have simply suspended the sentence, and at the end of the day has the ability to reduce it, to change it, and in very rare cases can expunge it. And now, when you do that and you reduce maybe a felon and to a misdemeanor, or they plead a different court, it makes the person more employable. So therefore, sometimes employability at the end of the goal, which brings families together. And so many times the people got themselves in trouble for things beyond control. They may have had PTSD and TBI and was not diagnosed. The vets court sometimes, by it being in the process and supportive services, can be highlighted, and it comes out and they can get the proper treatment and move on. They might have responded to a policeman incorrectly, and therefore they find themselves in trouble with the judicial system. So it's a way sometimes to move them through the system, but at the same time making sure they understand the rules and regulations. So as I said,
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think, vets court, I can go there because I'm a veteran, they're going to get me out of this mess. And that's not the way it is. You've got to be selected, screened, and as you said, there's a process you go through. And I had the privilege of sitting in a sobriety court graduation yesterday.
Right.
35 people graduated after an 18-month course.
Right.
So now there's 35 people who are no longer drinking. They're in our community being productive. But if it wasn't for that court, they might not have gotten that break.
That's
the same thing we're looking at with our vets that maybe have some PTSD issues that were not being treated or not being cared for and looked after, and they did something stupid. Well, This is a chance to not totally slam dunk them, but maybe give them that hand, like say, to rehabilitate them, I guess.
We've had cases where a veteran was accused of weaving down the road. Well, in combat operations, maybe they were 48 hours ago in Iraq and Afghanistan, that's the way they were taught to drive. Yeah. And although they were not visibly impaired, but seeing that, you are going to say, what's wrong with that person?
I rode with a guy who got back. He'd been back about 2 months, and there was a stalled car on the side of the road. And we're driving. He switched over 2 lanes over. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, I flashed back, that car could have been a bomb.
Could have been a bomb.
Sitting there, and that's the first thing you look for, is get away from anything that's parked there. But I said, no, man, we're back here on the expressway. You can't do that. But he did. He flashed back there, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Or if the police would have saw him, you probably would have pulled him over for reckless driving.
Reckless driving. The other thing is that the community can engage itself with veterans courts. Through 501c3s, as I understand that you have, you can help provide time and volunteerism in the process of the wraparound services. So there is involvement, everything from financial involvement to physical time in the veterans court process, and so that the veteran and the people in the judicial system and the law enforcement system and the medical treatment side can all come together, moving everyone in a positive direction. And in many cases, what can mean families are kept together. New jobs are found. new things are born out of this, and everyone moves together, and the community can and pat itself on the back that we're doing the right things for a lot of different people.
Oh, beautiful. Well, in Muskegon County, as you kind of seen, we've got tremendous support from our community. I mean, this is just an example of let's do something for the vets, and they're just totally on board. And so we have all the supportive services, but we didn't have the vets court.
Right.
So that's the next piece that we're trying to put in, and with your help and guidance and what goes on, we can have a first-class court here. We're going to kind of, like I said earlier, we're going to try to look at Ingham counties. And
right,
Judge Taylor was gracious enough to have Judge Nolan be running ours here to go down there and look at it.
Yeah, Judge Jordan, who brought the first court in.
We don't believe in reinventing the wheel. The wheel's there and it's working, so let's just put it in place here. That's kind of
we just want to exponentialize the system. Yeah. Although in Lansing, they're trying to introduce some bills. I've testified in front of the Judicial Committee about bringing more veterans courts into the state. Right now, they have to come in by county.
Yeah.
And we're looking at possibly some regionalization. It may be one day that Muskegon can pick up its 2 neighboring counties, and you'd be like a county seat type thing where several counties will be working together with the veterans going through one veterans court.
And we kind of have that now. We draw with the VA clinic here. We have people come as far as Manistee all the way down here to ours, and when they're here, we have our own food bank, and sometimes the people come over to the hospital at the clinic side and say, hey, Dave, I got a gal here that came down for an appointment, but they don't have any food, but they're not from our county, but it don't matter. I got a food bank.
Right.
We'll load them up, they take it back to wherever else, and that's what we do. That's what you got to do. But you're right. What about these outlying counties that are small, that don't have huge? But we're working on a bill with Holly Hughes to try to get at least an office in every county. A vet shouldn't have to leave their county. At least go to an office to get direction.
Unfortunately, statewide, that we only have about a little over 2/3 of the counties actually have veteran service officers that are appropriated by the county officials.
But every county has veterans. Every single county.
Every single county. There are over 703,000 veterans in the state of Michigan. We have the demographics by county where the veterans are, and we're also trying to attract more veterans to move back to Michigan with the live, work, play theme. And, of course, you've got a lot of great live, work, play right here in Muskegon. And so we're trying to
services for their military background and what they need, whether job placement or retraining or medical care or whatever it is, to keep them a viable citizen in this community and staying here, not going
somewhere else. And to the employers that are listening to this, many of you are eligible for tax credits up to $9,600, and we're talking federal tax credit. And we have the forms, and it's a one-page form. And you hire a vet, depending on the category, you have a federal tax credit, not a state. This is a federal tax credit. So many employers in the state were probably not aware of the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. And this was also passed again as part of the November 11th BOW Act. And we've got new programs coming out under the BOW Act to help veterans. Many of them employed who are underemployed right now, who have lost all their benefits. Yep. There's a new program that went live May 15th with the VA called the VRAP program, and we can get them registered online. It's $55,000, I think. We can register. We're in competition with all other 52 states and territories, 50 states and 3 territories. So we want to register as many of our Michigan veterans into that program so that they can use the benefits to move towards a 2-year degree or a 1-year certificate, because many times they just need a special skill.
And a lot of our you said the old Vietnam vets and maybe the first Gulf War vets, the VA benefits, their GI Bill is gone. They've used it or it's just gone. But they lost their job after 15 or 20 years. They need to be retrained. They say, where do I go? Well, here you go.
And there's a new program. It went live May 15th, nationwide. It's just a matter of having them register on the computer, verify their qualifications, and then they can get into special training programs at many of our institutions, which are approved. And, of course, you have Muskegon Community College here, which is VA, which are VA certified, which our agency is the state approved agency, does certify them.
And see, that was pretty nice. The VA came back. It used to be you had to be a degree awarding program if you're going to enter. Now it's a certificate awarding. So we've got a truck driving school. You come out with a CDL license, which is was a certification.
Right.
And so that's covered by that now. So you can go back to school, get a truck driving, get your school, and have the VA pay for it.
Right.
But again, people don't realize that money. I ran a JTPA program in Texas when I first retired 22 years ago. And I could sell that. I went out and said, look, if you'll hire this guy, I'll pay you half
half his salary up for a couple of years,
yeah,
right?
To train him. And the guy said, are you kidding me?
They know most many employers and
the
around.
second year I had employers coming to me and said, Dave, you got any more of those vets?
Right.
But the company can get up to $9,000.
A certain kind of it depends. Yeah, and like I said, it's a federal tax credit, and so we're trying to encourage the companies. And at the same thing, it sends a very positive message for Michigan that Michigan is aggressive. Michigan is taking care of its veterans. And when you're doing that, when these people are making a decision about where they get out of the service and what state they're coming back to, we want them to say, put Michigan on your map. And right now, we want to put your county and your city on the map.
Yeah, and this is another thing. Holly Hughes is standing right here, and at the level we've been working on it for the college part of it.
Right.
We kind of asked the colleges that to waiver for veterans the residency status. You know, if you I don't care where you're from, if you're a vet, you come to the state of Michigan, and you want to go to whatever school that you're automatically considered a resident of. A lot of guys walk away, or they pay double the amount, or whatever it is. And so that's a way for us to attract veterans who are getting out of the military. Is, hey, if you go to Michigan, your resident status, whatever school you want to go to, you don't have to pay twice the tuition or non-resident rate, whatever it is.
I understand.
So that's what we're kind of working on that one too. The old college, it's all about a money thing, but we're trying to keep the veterans here in the state and bring new veterans back.
Thank you.
The young people here.
Yeah.
Well, I say younger than us, are still going to be producing and paying back into the system and stuff. So. And every veteran, that's what I always pitch to sales. And every veteran's been through basic military training. They know how to work together. They know how to keep their stuff together. They know how to keep it sharp. They're motivated. They will show up, and they will get the job done. That's what we've been doing for 2 to 4 years. You had that drill in your head.
Mission focus.
And it's still there. We just got to brush it off sometimes, kick it in the butt, and get it rebooted. And,
if you remember, the American GI was known around the world for adaptability and ingenuity.
That's it.
And that came from the way we trained our soldiers, whether you were a private all the way up to a general.
Doesn't matter. You got the job done. When the shoot started, who's next and mixed, or you shot back and cover each other's back, and that's what.
And that was it. It was all about the buddy system. So we want to buddy up some more here in Muskegon County.
Well, I am so appreciative of you coming here today and giving a lot of credibility to what we're doing here, and your guys, Jesse and Norris.
Fantastic colleagues. Fantastic colleagues. Yeah.
They're the friendliest guys, and people say I can get a hold of him anytime. I can reach him out here when he's with his family, and he'll still talk and give me some directions.
Right, yes, they will.
And that's what it's all about.
That's all.
If the vet reaches out, then by golly, we're going to have the hand on the other side and say, here, we can get you there. Huh?
And I've had the chance to talk to some of your local employers who want to get even more involved with processes or partnering with some of your institutions to take their graduates as they come out. So that in itself is a very positive benefit of everyone being here today.
You got 60-plus companies here, and they're networking. They're walking across the tables, talking, hey, what do you do? Well, what do you do? What are you working on? What am I working on?
Right.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. And wind. It's a little windy out here, but it's nice wind. It's cool.
This is the great. Well, it's changing when it means that we're sweeping in a new breeze.
A new era.
All right.
A new optimism, if you will. So,
okay. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
Okay. Take care.